Welcome back to Classic Firearms. I'm Brandon, and this is a Century Arms Draco 9S, a 9mm AK platform PCC. Very cool. So let's go ahead and kind of dive in and talk a little bit about what this is. But first, we're going to go ahead and give you the tech specs. Then we're going to verify some of those tech specs, such as trigger pull, weight, length, and height, with actual things that we measure right here in the studio. All the meanwhile, of course, giving you a tip-to-butt review of the actual firearm and what it is right out of the box. So let's go ahead and start right away with those tech specs. The Century Arms Draco 9S, coming from that Draco line, is kind of small. It weighs in at 6.27 pounds, and it comes in two variants. You have the braced version and the non-braced version. So you can get one that actually has a sling mount on the back or make any adjustments that you want to it. You have a magazine that has a capacity that is over your standard AR capacities. So that is somewhere in the 30s. I'm just gonna let that be at that. +1, so that's always good. Technically, 36. You do also have that front sight, which is going to be adjustable. That is something that you would expect on any AK platform and performs exactly like such. Of course, this whole thing is chambered in 9mm. That mag is actually an EV9 Scorpion mag, so that is always nice and very reliable. Your overall length, ironically, is 1913, and that is without the brace. It extends out even farther than that with the brace, so we'll verify that in a second. And your barrel length is 11.14 inches. The receiver here is a stamped receiver, for those of you who want to know that, and overall, it is manufactured in Romania. And now this variant that you're seeing in front of me has the SP Tactical SOB 47 brace on it, which does feel very nice, at least when you get on it. It is quite nice and quite sturdy, which is really what you want to see. So moving on, let's go ahead now and talk tip to butt what we actually get with this 9mm PCC AK. Just really cool in general. You get a standard muzzle brake or muzzle device up here on your AK platforms that you would see. It does actually move with a push button as well, as you would expect on a standard AK. It is literally just a threat protector on here, but you do remove it with the same pin that you would expect. So you push that in and then twist it off like you'd expect on a normal AK. So kind of cool, keeping the AK vibes. You do have a front iron sight that is adjustable and attached to that gas block, again, as you would expect from a normal AK. Beyond that, you also have a really nice wood handguard here, which, again, AK style, is very nice and very polished. It feels really good right out of the box, very solid. There's no flex in it when I give it all the beans that I got. It doesn't move, which is nice. Again, you have that rear sight, which is adjustable as well. Always good to see that. And then even farther, you get to retain all of those sights while also adding a Picatinny rail up top. Now, I do notice that this Picatinny rail is polymer. The rest of this is that metal that you would expect, but the top portion is a polymer Picatinny rail. This is going to be very nice for a red dot that you want to put on here. 9mm PCC, you can put a scope on there if you want. I don't judge, you do what you want to do. I put a red dot on there though. Moving back just a little bit farther, we do have, of course, can't necessarily show you how to take it down, but it does take down like a normal AK. Give me one sec, I'm gonna cut over to opening it up. So as you can see, this is actually on a hinge. Your dust cover is on a hinge here, which is really quite nice. It's a good addition. Easy to get into it without messing up your sight, so it doesn't go all the way forward and it stops right on that front sight. Actually, I don't think you can push all the way forward because the front sight literally stops it. I think it would if that front sight wasn't there though. So either way, it's still nice. And standard operation, so like this is about as AK as it gets. Very simple, very robust. Love that. Okay, now that was not modifying a firearm, by the way, YouTube. Literally just moved the dust cover up. It's a part of the firearm. No modifications have been made. No taking down has been had. Moving on. That's basically the same thing as inserting or moving a mag or putting on a suppressor. Okay, I digress. YouTube's very picky about that, so I just want to make sure that's clear. As you head down, you do have a kind of minimal flared mag well. It's got a little bit of a chamfer right here on the edge, so getting those mags in there. It's not overly dramatic, so it does keep the width of the overall gun quite nice, but there is just a little bit of an assistance there. You have that standard rock. Actually, it's not even a rock and lock, so you completely just insert straight on like a normal PCC, but you do have, keeping in AK fashion, that mag release that is in tune with what you would expect. Your trigger guard is made out of metal and quite large, actually. Let's go ahead and I'll show you. This thing is clear. Yep. Oh. It has lockback. Just figured that out. But remove that. We are clear to go. That trigger is also made out of metal, and as we start to pull it back, you do notice a little bit of movement, a little bit of take up. You hit a wall, very defined wall, pull through, and bang. So you do pull through just a little bit. When you release that, a little bit of movement, a little bit more movement, and bang, reset at the end there. You pull back onto it with a little bit more take up, and bang. Overall, that is definitely a very crisp trigger. You're gonna know when it resets and when it breaks. Well, obviously it's gonna fire, so you'll know when it breaks, but the reset is very tactile as well. As we move down, you have your standard polymer grip that you would expect on an AK. Now, what I do like about this is it's not that brownish color, which I love that, don't get me wrong, but it just fits the aesthetic of this particular gun a little bit better being black. And as you fall back a little bit farther here, we do have that SB Tactical Brace, which again is very solid and feels very good on this firearm. Now, you do have the non-braced version as well, so if you're looking for a little bit more of a compact, which a lot of people prefer a little bit more compact, you can get the non-braced version as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to the portion where we actually verify and test some of these things. We're gonna start out with the trigger pull, actually. Let me grab that right here. So I had that on tap, which is always nice. So let's get the gun up, remove the mag, show clear once more. For the record, everything we do here, the guns are always cleared before we ever start. So if you're ever worried about that in the comments, I understand why you're worried about it. Don't get me wrong, but we do clear them. Okay, we're gonna try it. I'll give it 3 pulls total. So I'm going to brace it and then give it a pull in 3, 2. 6.149 pounds. Let's go ahead and try it one more time. Brace it, give it a good pull in 3, 2. That one was 7.7, but I do believe this moved and wobbled a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and try that once more for try 2. And I'm pulling up a little bit by mistake. In 3, 2. 6.2. I think we can draw the conclusion that this is right around a 6.1, 6.3 pound trigger, which for any sort of style AK that you're used to is right there on the money with them. So now we're gonna go ahead and actually weigh it, and then we'll wrap up with measuring it in just a second. I'll be right back. All right, we do have our measuring tape here. So let's go ahead and see the length, then we'll get the height, and then we'll get the height with the mag and everything as well. So let's go ahead and grab that, pull the measuring tape out, and see where we line up. Get it right on the tip of that muzzle there. Perfect. We are looking at about 27.5 inches in full length. That's without the brace. With the brace, 19 inches like on the money. So 1913 I would believe to be correct on that. Now let's go ahead and get the height. And yes, I know, by the way, that I said we're gonna weigh it first and then measure it. Sorry, I decided to do this first. Okay, measuring on height, we are looking at almost, probably, yeah, you're looking at right about 7 inches with that Picatinny, just right around there. And then with the mag, you can expect, let's get it on the mag. All right, watch me struggle with this. Right at about, what is it, 10.5 inches roughly. So right about that 10.5 inch mark with that mag in it. Now, I'm gonna get the scale and we're gonna put that on the table and give you the final measurement. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put it on the scale. Quick and easy, what do we got? 7.19 pounds without that mag, in case you're curious. The gun is 6.91, right around that 7 pound mark. And that has been the Draco 9S 9mm PCC from Century Arms. This thing, very cool, very unique, not something you see every day, especially chambered in 9mm. The MSRP on the non-brace version, $739.99, goes up a little bit when you add the brace on there. So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. Please feel free to leave a review down below. We would love to see your comments. That is all I have for you guys today. God bless, stay safe. It is time to end. Now, I'm gonna go shoot this thing.